that was said for you, the more likely you were to speed your way to heaven.
Well, I've heard the same rumours.
Hello, my name's Penny and I'm a volunteer roof guide. And today I'm going to take you up into the roof of the cathedral. But first of all, we need to think about the architecture here and to tell you a story about how Lincoln Cathedral was built. We need to go back to the Norman invasion, 14th of October 1066, when our last Anglo-Saxon king was killed. And the problem that William had was actually getting the country under control, and it took about 20 years. And there were three ways he did it. First of all, being absolutely brutal to people that lived here, destroying their crops, killing their animals, starving them into submission. The other one was the building of Motte and Bailey castles. And the third one was replacing Anglo-Saxon churches and cathedrals with Norman ones. So in 1072, he sent his friend Remigius here as bishop of what was at the time a very, very large diocese, extending from the River Humber to the River Thames and across to Oxford. So 9.5 modern counties. Remigius arrived here 1072 and started to build. So if you look at the front of the cathedral, hopefully you can pick out 5 rounded arches, which are typical of Romanesque or Norman architecture. So that first cathedral took about 20 years to build. In round about 1121, there was a very serious fire which took out the roof. So the third bishop, known as Alexander the Magnificent, he then rebuilt the cathedral. He put a stone vault on. You can see the lovely frieze across the front. He commissioned that. And if you look up at the towers, you can also see some Norman architecture up there. What you might also see when you're looking up at the top of the Norman bit, you can see some very narrow little windows. Now those are actually arrow loops, because this front part of the cathedral, this western front, was built like an ecclesiastical fortress, because the bishop and the dean and all the clergy needed to have a place of sanctuary when the people outside were very hostile towards them, as you can imagine. And so they needed to be able to look right the way across. I mean, none of the buildings that are here now were here. So they could see right across to where the castle is, and they could also see that road that runs right the way through Lincoln, which we know as Steep Hill and the Bale Gate, but actually was part of the Roman Ermine Street. So a very important route that connected London eventually all the way up to York. This is the bell ringers chapel. So it is dedicated to our team of bell ringers. But it's on the south side of the old original cathedral. So up there, we've got a Norman supporting arch. So this chapel was built round about the year 1250, and it would have been the chantry chapel of Bishop Hugh of Wells. Now, Bishop Hugh of Wells was bishop at the time of King John, and he would have been at Runnymede and his scribe wrote our copy of Magna Carta that you would have seen at the castle. So this chapel would have been set up in his memory, and there would have been masses said in here, because they believed at that time in a place called Purgatory that you would go to before you could get either to heaven or hell. And of course, the more prayers that were said for you, the more likely you were to speed your way to heaven. So, hence the chantry chapels.
Hi, I'm Stuart from Tension Twisted Realities. Come and have a look round.
In the 1920s, it became apparent that there was a very, very serious problem with the structure of the cathedral. Large cracks were appearing, particularly in the southwest and northwest towers. And they did some exploratory work, and they actually drilled holes in the walls. And what they found was that the walls were built of 2 rows of stone, ashlars, and in the middle there was lime mortar and lime rubble. Now that had disintegrated over the hundreds of years the cathedral has stood, so you had big voids with masonry above that had no support. So, there was panic on. The then dean took himself across the Atlantic, and he did several lecture tours in Canada, United States and South America, getting money together, and meanwhile the team here did all they could to save the cathedral from falling down. And basically, they filled the walls with concrete. The other thing they did, you can see these rods. These are built of, or made rather, of delta bronze. So it's a particularly inert metal. And so there's thousands of them knitting the cathedral together. We're above the nave, in the nave roof. We have got a model of the cathedral there that was built in the 1870s. It does give you a very good idea of what the cathedral would have looked like. You will notice that it has spires, which of course the cathedral no longer has, and that actually doubled the height of the cathedral. So until 1548, when it blew down, Lincoln was the tallest building in the world at the time. You can see those tree pegs. We tend to call them square pegs in round holes because that's what they are. So when the joint was made, they would drill a hole and then put the peg through. And because they were using green wood, as it dried, of course that would clamp that. So that's been there for about 800 years. That's never going to come out.
So I'm Michael Graves, I'm the Associate Clerk of Works, trained originally as a stonemason, but yeah, so my job role is basically looking after the Works Department team with the Director of Works and looking at the projects that we're doing currently and future projects.
There's a lot of scaffolding gone up here, so
yeah.
It's not just for one job. You do this and then do a whole load of jobs in the same area, I guess.
Hopefully, it depends how it falls. Generally, it'd be ideal if we could find a bit of the cathedral where we need to replace the roofs, do all the windows and do all the stonework, but that's not always the case. This project on the chapter house is predominantly stonemasonry. The windows are in good condition, so they'll just have a bit of a clean up and a basic repairs. So it all depends where we are, but then understanding that we keep the rest of the department busy on other things.
And this is like the fourth bridge and work's never done, right?
Definitely. Well, that's what everyone always says. We have a 50-year plan from today, which every year you could add 5 years on. The cathedral is the only one in its entirety on the at-risk register. Not to say it's falling down, it's just in a sorry state of repair. For whatever reasons, compared to other cathedrals, it just needs a lot of time and money spent on it to get it back to its glory, I guess.
And how many in your team?
The Works Department, we currently have 27 people, I would say. So that's split between stonemasons, conservators, stained glass conservators, joinery team, lead working team, and then a facilities team, as well as painter and decorators as well for the estate. And
you pull people in from outside as well, or are they all internal?
That 27 are core for the cathedral, and if you was to also look at, get an aerial view of the cathedral, draw a circle around it, we actually own about 85 properties around, so we are using them for the function of the cathedral, like office spaces, but probably the majority of them, about 85%, are privately let to local anybody really. So we have to maintain them, upkeep them. So that's between the cathedral and the properties. It's we could probably do with twice as many people.
Do you ever think about what it might have been like building this from the for those people back in the day building this? I mean, without all this equipment that you might have access to.
Yeah, always scratch a head when we're up here removing stones that weighing sometimes 800 kilograms, thinking how'd they get it up here. The other hand is, if you was building it from scratch, one on top of the other, it would be like, I think that'd be really nice to do. Whereas we are just taking that one stone out, be it 100, 200 kilograms. Stone, unfortunately, is really heavy and not very forgiving. It doesn't bend. And we're working on a scaffold trying to get this massive block into the hole we've created, trying to fit it in that tiny space. Whereas if you're just plopping it on top of each other, yeah, a bit easier. But the basic physics and all the stuff that they had to get things up there, it's incredible really. We have, you might be able to hear it hissing in the background, we have hoists that are powered by air, electric, but still, we scratch our heads sometimes as how we're going to get stuff up there safely, wow. And then actually put it in the building.
is there a gargoyle at Lincoln Cathedral that looks like Brian Clough?
Well, I've heard the same rumours. There's lots of different rumours about the cathedral, as well as the tunnels everywhere, you know, and the whole tennis ball scenario of how it got up there. I've heard the same rumour, and I guess it's up to the person looking at it to figure out whether it actually looks like him, you know, and ultimately the person who made it.
You can point us. You're going to point us to the stone, to the gargoyle in question. And people can decide for themselves if indeed one of your stonemasons at some point in history thought, I like Nottingham Forest, I'm making a Brian Clough here. All right,
well, you know, you can be the judge of that, can't you?
Let's go and see.
I'm Eric Prentice and I'm the Director of Music here in the Cathedral.
And how long have you been the Director of Music in the Cathedral?
Well, it's nearly 25 years.
So I hear.
A milestone, yeah.
Congratulations on a big one. Okay, yeah. So tell us about your job. What's involved?
Well, I'm sort of responsible for all of the music that goes on throughout the year in the Cathedral. So the main thing we have is our Cathedral Choir with 20 boys and 20 girls and 12 professional adults. And we have lots and lots of other choirs as well. We have a choir for sort of the very youngest, sort of, you know, junior infants and juniors, and then we have a youth choir for those for some choristers to move into after they finish being cathedral choirs. We have an adult choir. We have lots of groups that come and sing for a week or so in the cathedral as well throughout the year. So it's a very varied programme. And then we have lots of additional events like our jazz festival and big concerts that we give throughout the year as well. So
if somebody's performing in the cathedral, you've approved them?
Yeah, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Or I'm involved in it. Yeah.
And it's quite the commitment, actually, from the youths, isn't it? Because they're here in the mornings and after school.
That's right. Our choristers come and rehearse for 45 minutes before school on 3 mornings during the week, and then they come
with a smile on their faces.
Oh, every day.
Every day. No problem.
Absolutely. Yeah. Depends on the weather more as much as anything else, and whether they've got to go to school afterwards.
45 minutes before and same after.
And after school, they come on 3 evenings for the girls and for the boys, and they're not exactly the same evenings, but then they come at about 4 o'clock and then they're here till about 6:30. So it's a longer stint after school, which includes a bit of tea, snack and so on, and then some rehearsal here, and then going and singing evensong across in the cathedral.
Wow. Yeah. And quite the honour for them to do so.
It's an accolade. I mean, when people join us, they're not necessarily terribly experienced. We're not looking at 7 or 8 year olds who have done loads of singing, but just that aptitude and a good ear and a bit of a sparkle in their eyes, and you can sort of work with them, and then by the time they leave, we're going to meet somebody. I think you're going to talk to Evie, one of our longest serving choristers, and by the time they leave, they're very, very good indeed, because they've just been singing a lot every week throughout sort of 6 or 7 years in the choir.
That makes it sound like, I've hooked onto something there, Eric, you can get better at singing.
You can you?
Oh,
definitely.
So let's say,
like anything, isn't it?
Let's say you were to be a man in his 50s who
I can imagine that easily. Funnily enough,
who people have told all his life can't sing. Oh, could you turn that person into somebody who can sing?
Oh, I'm sure you can. Yeah, it's just like anything, isn't it? It's
interesting.
Like running or swimming or
is that all it's like?
Frying a pancake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we might come to that. Right, he's gone now. What's he really like? No. No. All right, tell us a little bit about your time here. You've been here for a long time.
Yeah, I don't really remember much of life like before choir. So I joined when I was 7. I joined summer, I was in year 2 going into year 3, and I really enjoyed it. It's like one of like the favourite things I've done. Like if I could go back and do my life again, I'd definitely do it, because you get lots of opportunities and you meet lots of like amazing people, and I've just developed so much in like all areas of music, really.
Wow. So tell me how you got involved in the first place. You were at school and there was a choir starting there, was there? And you went along?
Well, my mum does a lot of singing, so she's a head teacher, and she did like choir runs at her school and stuff. So I always kind of went to them. And then they had be a chorister for a day, which my nana took me to, and I came and I really enjoyed it. So I decided to come back for an audition. So I auditioned and I got in.
Wow.
And then I started, yeah.
Tell me about your involvement with this wonderful choir. How long have you been involved?
Like a couple months or something.
Okay. Tell me how you got started. Was it at school and then you were singing in the choir there?
I love singing, so my parents found this like choir in Lincoln, and so then I just decided I'd try to get in it.
And it turned out you were
Yeah.
quite good.
Yeah, and I got in.
So what will you be doing tonight?
Doing a service.
Okay. Do you enjoy those?
Yeah.
And I've heard there's snacks after school. What sort of things on the table?
Like toast, stuff, biscuits.
Any crisps?
Yeah.
It sounds okay.
And fruit, like grapes,
I'm not interested.
oranges,
Yeah.
apples.
No, not interested. Any kebabs?
No.
I like just asking. What's your favourite food?
Like that I've ever had there.
No, in your life.
So my favourite food.
That's it.
Chocolate.
Chocolate is your favourite
It's
food.
got to be.
Okay, it's got to be chocolate. All right. Evie, in your own time.
Could you sing this for me, Evie? To La. Well done, very nice. How about if we do 3 notes? Very good, very nice.
You say
Is it
good.
Is it your turn, George?
You ain't heard nothing yet, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, start me off.
Okay, would you like to sing this for me? Just one note at a time we'll begin with. What about this one? Thank you. What about this one? Yeah, that was a bit higher than the first one, wasn't it? Yeah.
It felt a little higher.
Yeah, what about this one then? Would it help if I
That
sang
didn't help.
it for you?
Please.
La, that one.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. How about this one? Should we do 3? That was you getting there, weren't you? Getting there. Well done. How about this one?
La, la, la.
Jolly good.
La, la, la. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. So, am I in or what?
Well, I'm just going to channel my
Yeah.
inner Simon
Yeah.
Cowell.
What you got?
There's the door.
Right?
Use it.
Oh, thanks a lot, mate.